Hey everyone, welcome to today's thrilling race. But there's a little hiccup, don't forget to hit that like button. They were blocked by other athletes. Furious, he decided to show them tit for tat sprinting forward, only to reach the hill. Surprisingly, leading McFarland's team stumbled on the hill. Distant observer White realized they only raced well on flat ground. It didn't end well, they were utterly humiliated in the race and received a barrage of teasing from other teams. On the way back, White pulled over, took off his sunglasses, and apologized to the kids, saying that this failure was all his fault for not scouting the course beforehand, but he told them to believe in their skills because there's so much more to come. After learning from their mistakes, White found the sand dunes McFarland had no hills, so kids practiced hill running on sand for varied terrain. But after just one round, Danny felt like his back might snap like a twig, yet White insisted they run without stopping. Kids ran hard on the sandy hill, and in the glow of the evening sun, they looked like a dynamic canvas of youth. After an unknown time, White called a halt for rest, but Wallace kept sprinting towards the sand. Wallace wore a pained expression, feeling like destiny had it out for him, thinking everything was pointless. He ultimately decided to quit. Back home, Wallace found his dad pounding on the wall. He rushed in to hug him, while White was on the other side. He forgot wife's reminder, the cake, and daughter's 6 p.m. birthday, trying to fix it with happy birthday. Clearly, his daughter wasn't having any of it. She sadly retreated to her room, ignoring her dad's desperate calls. After taking 2 hits, White moaned and drove through the night, only to unexpectedly spot Wallace sitting on the bridge railing. White cautiously approached and asked her what was wrong. Wallace said her dad returned after years of work, finding his daughter pregnant. Life was chaos. To make matters worse, her dad lost it and started smashing walls, and since that hand was the only breadwinner in the family, Wallace tried to intervene, unintentionally hurt. To soothe Wallace, White sat beside her and talked. He confessed to forgetting to pick up his daughter's cake, which led to being locked out. Surprisingly, Wallace chuckled at that. Then White asked if she was thinking about jumping down, explaining it wouldn't be a fun ride, but could guarantee her legs would be if she did, she wouldn't just become a burden at home, but also could kiss her beloved running goodbye. As Wallace hesitated, White pulled her down. She sighed in relief and rejoined the cross-country team. A spark of hope reignited. On the way home, White plucked the brightest rose in the bushes and placed it at his daughter's door, hoping this little gift would surprise her. Yet, in order to better understand the situation, White began studying nightly, observing athletes' TV techniques, then riding a pink bike to teach kids. With the sun setting, the shadows danced among the trees as the kids marched steadily, united in the chase for victory. Another school race arrived, and McFarland high-faced a formidable opponent. White gathered the kids together. She gave them a pep talk in her own unique way. The voices of the kids were loud enough to rattle the surroundings. They all ran together, voices ringing loud, bursting out of the campus, darting past the intimidating prison, and crossing the barren streets, this land that nurtured them, witnessing their sweat and footprints. Wallace was securely in 3rd place, keeping pace. This was the secret White had taught them: maintain pace in the early stages and unleash all their energy in the last 800 meters. As they reached the final sprint stage, their opponents were already gasping for breath, while Wallace sped out like an arrow from a bow, closely trailed by her teammates. And that was how they cruised to their first victory, joy blooming on every face. Under the sunset, their embracing figures reflected the hopes and dreams of this land. White then headed to Diana's house. Before he could explain his reason, Diana's mom warmly invited him in for dinner. The family served their best dishes, and White looked at them all crowded in the small room. For a moment, his words to persuade faded. At meal's end, Diana's mom stuffed him with a huge box of food. White went to the backyard and asked if he could help. The father firmly declined and immediately pointed out White's intentions. He said cross-country was like a television set, not a household necessity. If the kids trained for an hour each day, then they'd spend an extra hour on farm work. Farming's tough, and he naturally wanted a bright future for his kids. But for the sake of next year's harvest, he had to make a choice. What no one had expected was that White would quietly sneak onto the truck to the farm the next morning, going with them to work in the fields. Only after first-hand experience did White grasp Dennis' family struggles. During break, he proposed adjusting training time to after farm work and promised to lend a hand. This way, the kids could still run and not hinder the farm work. White's sincerity touched the parents. So, they willingly invited Mexican immigrants to organize a fundraiser as joyful Mexican music filled the air. Laughter and joy filled the scene as people contributed their share through this event. The kids finally had professional running shoes and gear, leaving running footprints across McFarland's fields ever since. The kids dashed through vast wheat fields, forests, and reservoirs, with McFarland achieving great results repeatedly.